Are you ready to have your soul shaken and stirred? I got 10 horror movies that are gonna delve into the evil world of demonic possession. Does evil truly lurk among us? Let's get possessed.
Do you understand how long they can put you away for this?
I want people to hear what only I can tell.
And what is that?
What really happened to Emily.
Now, I didn't include The Exorcist here because I thought that one was kind of obvious, but let's kick it off with The Exorcism of Emily Rose. This is a 2005 horror film that explores the allegedly true story of a young woman named Emily Rose who believed that she was possessed by demons. After attempting to receive medical treatment for her condition and receiving no relief, Emily returns to Father Richard Moore, a Catholic priest, who performs an exorcism on her in the film. However, Emily dies during the exorcism and Father Moore is charged with her murder.
Father Moore asked you to give her any medical help?
I couldn't help her.
Why couldn't you help her?
Because there are no injections against the devil.
To this day, the movie has some of the best demonic possession scenes in the genre. The film does a fantastic job setting up the scenes with a tight focus on Emily's face as she screams in pain and terror while her body writhes and jerks in unnatural movements. The sound design is also fantastic and emphasizes the disturbing sounds of bones cracking and flesh stretching. The cinematography and lighting capture the evil perfectly. It's impressive and memorable. Just a killer movie in the demonic possession genre and fun to revisit.
Please, you have to get me out of here.
Now I'm cheating because I have a couple of Evil Dead movies on this list, but we're gonna start off with the Evil Dead remake. The plot follows a group of friends who go to a remote cabin in the woods to help their friend Mia overcome a drug addiction. However, they soon discover a mysterious book that they found unleashes a evil force in the woods.
There was something in the woods.
I think one of the most memorable demonic possession scenes, though, is when Mia, the main character, is possessed by the malevolent entity in the woods. Her friends initially believe that she's suffering from withdrawal symptoms from drug addiction, but they soon realize that something much more sinister is at play here. Mia's possession is a tough watch, but her progression from fully lost to the demon to battling the abomination at the end is a fantastic narrative for addiction. And in this case, the addict, Mia, saved herself while all of her friends died. Awesome final scene.
They want to make a movie about this, isn't that
Yes, well, I used to know the name of this bird. Hell's bells.
Another fantastic demonic possession film is The Taking of Deborah Logan. For a found footage horror film, this is easily one of the best in that genre, as well as in the demonic possession genre. From the slow burn to the reveal at the end, this movie has some truly terrifying scenes that make it iconic to this day. One of the most chilling scenes from this movie is what I'll dub the child eating scene. This is some excellent cinematography, and the production to pull this moment together and have that wow moment is a total payoff for the film. It's one of those moments that's hard to watch and also hard to look away. It's a culmination of the escalating tension and horror throughout the film, which really shocked me the first time I saw it. This film is full of standout moments that showcases the movie's ability to deliver truly terrifying and unforgettable possession scenes. Check it out, it's awesome.
This man's jaw spontaneously dislocated while being read the Lord's Prayer.
Now we're gonna pull back a little bit, go a little bit slower, but it's still a scary film, and that's The Rite. Michael Kovac, played by Colin O'Donoghue, is a skeptical seminary student who is encouraged by his mentor to attend an exorcism school in Rome. While there, he meets Father Lucas Trevant, played by Anthony Hopkins, a seasoned exorcist who introduces him to the darker side of Catholicism and the reality of demonic possession.
Does a thief or a burglar turn on the lights when he's robbing your house? No. He prefers you to believe that he's not there.
The Rite is a suspenseful and intense exploration of faith, doubt, and the battle between good and evil, with some fantastic acting and drama to support that narrative. One of the most memorable scenes in the entire movie is the exorcism scene where Father Lucas is possessed. Hopkins delivers a powerful performance as the possessed priest. The scene is just a masterful display of Hopkins' acting abilities and adds to that overall dread of the film. If you like slow burn good versus evil, The Rite is awesome for that.
Ma'am, what's wrong with you?
Now this is a demonic possession film that I think goes a little bit under the radar, and that's Deliver Us from Evil. In this film, Ralph Sarchi, played by Eric Bana, a New York City police officer, is investigating a series of disturbing and inexplicable crimes. As he delves deeper into the case, he joins forces with an unconventional priest, Father Mendoza, played by Edgar Ramirez, who believes that the crimes may be related to demonic possession. As they race against time to solve the case and stop the possessed individual from causing more harm, Sarchi must confront his own inner demons and beliefs. One of the scenes in particular that got me was during Mendoza's exorcism. There's some awesome dialogue here, good versus evil back and forth, but one part that really stuck me was where the possessed character just starts eating his own leg while the priest performs his holy duties. The constant tension, squishy gore sounds, and screaming holy words add a fantastic unease to the scene. Great demonic possession film that everybody should scope at some point. It's underrated, go check it out.
Culturas primitivas se creía que lo que ocurría en el cielo era un reflejo de lo que ocurría en la tierra.
Now, another very underrated demonic possession horror movie is Veronika. This movie was released in 2017, and it's a foreign horror movie that is insanely underappreciated. The movie is based on a true story of a girl named Estefania who died after playing a Ouija board game. Veronika, a 15-year-old girl, lives with her mother and siblings in Madrid. After the death of her father, she takes care of her younger siblings. One day, Veronika and her friends decide to play with a Ouija board during a solar eclipse to contact her father's spirit. However, the game goes wrong and something sinister takes over Veronika's life. One of the best scenes in the movie, though, takes place in her bedroom. She wakes up to her closet door slowly creeping open to a dark and silent room. There's a mirror on the back of the door that just shows her back, which is a nice scary tease. But what the audience doesn't realize is there's something lurking in the dark. The door slams shut, reveals a malignant, naked presence whispering her name before she gets pinned to the bed, and a bunch of black hands grab her and hold her down. This whole movie is full of moments like this. Definitely check it out.
I have to hear his voice again.
This is your last chance to back out.
We're gonna go independent with this one, and that is A Dark Song, released in 2016. The movie follows the story of a grieving mother, Sophia, played by Catherine Walker, who hires an occultist, Solomon, played by Steve Oram, to perform a dangerous ritual to summon her guardian angel. The ritual requires the two to spend months in total isolation in a house in Wales, where they follow a series of grueling and terrifying instructions. I will say that this movie is probably the most cerebral on this list, but it doesn't make it any less great of a horror film about summoning things from the other side.
Protecting me.
Drink it!
Just remember who's paying for this.
From the feel of isolation to wondering if this man that's helping Sophia is actually legit and not just conning her, there's a ton to digest here. Ultimately, it's a commentary on grief and how a mother would do anything to see her deceased son again. It's cool to see so much attention to detail put into the summoning ritual itself. It's the study, the labor, the suffering, and we as the audience feel every moment of it. Although this isn't demonic possession in the purest sense, this is a character-driven film showing what happens when your grief completely possesses you. Hereditary is a 2018 supernatural horror movie that follows the story of a family who begins to unravel terrifying secrets about their ancestry after the death of their reclusive grandmother, who has left a dark and ominous presence on her family. They are plagued by a malevolent presence that threatens to tear them apart. A grief-struck mother, Annie, attempts to contact the spirits of her deceased loved ones through a seance with the help of a spiritual medium named Joanne. As the seance continues, Annie becomes increasingly emotional and erratic, seemingly channeling the spirit of her lost daughter, Charlie, played by Millie Shapiro, who died earlier in the film.
I swear I can feel them in the room.
What happens, though, is they channeled something far more nefarious, and Annie becomes possessed in the film. Toni Collette's performance throughout the movie is legendary, and her possession scene is horrifying to watch. From her grotesque and rapid movements, contortions, to slamming herself against walls, she relentlessly pursues her son Peter to ultimately possess him. The movie is not for the faint of heart. It's masterclass in the genre, but man, are there some awesome possession scenes in this movie.
No matter how busy you ever got, you always found time for me. I can't believe I'm never gonna speak to you again.
The Evil Dead franchise moved out of the woods and into the big city, and man, this movie is freaking killer, dude. Evil Dead Rise is downright mean at times, with the gore turned up to 11, but I will say it doesn't feel as serious in tone as the 2013 entry was. Evil Dead Rise's plot follows the reunion between the sisters Beth, played by Lily Sullivan, and Ellie, played by Alyssa Sutherland, that was ultimately interrupted by an earthquake in Los Angeles. The event causes their apartment building to crumble in places, which uncovers a mysterious book in the depths of their building, and that's where the fun starts. The demonic possession scenes in this film, starting from how the presence is summoned all the way through the gory conclusion, is executed with pure depravity and disgusting style.
This evil creates terror through total chaos.
Alyssa's performance as the Deadite is absolutely mesmerizing in every single scene. The way she moves, speaks, and interacts with others as the Deadite is downright horrifying on every single level. The demonic interactions in Evil Dead Rise feel a little bit more in the spirit of Raimi's era of Evil Dead, with a little bit more emphasis on the dark humor inserted, but overall it's as intense as Evil Dead 2013 in a lot of ways. The demonic phrases, mean-spirited and gory kills, it's everything that us as Evil Dead fans want. That opening scene is one of the best horror movie intros that I've ever seen in a horror movie, let alone in a demonic possession film. Go see it. It is awesome.
No ID, no fingerprints in the system. For now, she's a Jane Doe.
The Autopsy of Jane Doe. This is a underrated horror movie that was released in 2016. A father-son team of coroners, Tommy, played by Brian Cox, and Austin, played by Emil Hirsch, who receive a body of an unknown woman, a Jane Doe, played by Olwen Catherine Kelly. Played is a loose thing here because it's a corpse. As they begin their examination and autopsy, they discover increasingly strange and disturbing anomalies that suggest that the Jane Doe's death may not have been natural. This is another extremely underrated horror movie that I tell people to check out all of the time. The more they investigate, the more they realize that they are dealing with an ancient supernatural force that is intent on possessing and destroying them. As the night goes on, they struggle to uncover the truth behind Jane Doe's death while fighting for their own survival against an evil that seems completely beyond their understanding. The entire movie is harrowing, claustrophobic, and brilliantly executed, as it's in a confined and extremely creepy space. And while it's not a traditional demonic possession film, it absolutely fits on this list. And what are some of your demonic possession horror films? Leave them down in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching. I will scare you guys next time.